Hi, I'm John Hart and welcome back to Mr. America Hart. Appreciate you stopping by the channel. Today I'm talking about the best exercises to help you grow. Now, I know over the years we've always heard these things being said by the biggest guys in the world. You know, the guys with the biggest legs, you gotta squat. The guys with the biggest chest, you gotta do bench presses. The guys with the biggest shoulders, you gotta do overhead military presses. But is that really the case? Are those necessary exercises, are they the best for growing? Well, I'm going to throw out a few examples to you, and maybe we can learn from this. Maybe we can, take some of this information or take some of this wisdom and use it in our own training to get the best effect, to grow the best that we can, the most amount of muscle, of course, while saving our joints. That would be nice as well, right? Okay, first example I have for you, standing right in front of you, John Hart. I don't like talking about myself in the third person, but since I'm standing here, standing right in front of you, I always found from day one that bench presses, barbell bench presses, I've tried all variations. I've tried everything that I can. You may notice I have some very long arms, so I have a lot of real estate I have to cover when I'm doing bench presses. And using a barbell in particular, it locks my hands in a certain position that my elbows don't feel right, my shoulders don't feel right. Afterwards, I can increase the weight over weeks and weeks and weeks. I can do it gradually using micro loading. It doesn't seem to matter. But the first 10 or 15 years of my training career, I'd return over and over again to the bench press with the barbell simply because it's supposed to be so great. And my chest was not very big. So I always would return back to it thinking, hey, maybe this time it'll work. Maybe this time I'll do something a little different. Maybe this time I'll listen to so-and-so over there. And I would ask the opinion of other people who are working out, other bodybuilders, other trainers even, on how to do them better, power lifters. But really, I was after the development. I wasn't after the strength. So the power lifters were helpful in showing me how to do it so that I wouldn't damage my rotator cuffs. But in reality, it still never felt right. So my body never tracked right with that exercise. I dumped it. I dumped it 15 years ago. I don't do bench presses anymore with a barbell. I do dumbbell bench presses. I can angle those dumbbells perfectly to fit my body. I have freedom of movement. My hands might be out here at the bottom, but as I drive the weight up, my hands can come in a little bit, and it feels even better. So for me, I started to make progress when I stuck with just the exercise that fit my body. Remember that part of the story. Number 2, Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia. 6-time Mr. Olympia, he doesn't do barbell squats. Now, he admits early in his career, he did do barbell squats. Unfortunately, the man wrecked one of his hips, had to have some surgery on it. He claims, in all of his writings, he claims that the barbell squat never felt right to him, and he had hip problems because of it. Got the problem corrected on his body, but then was smart enough not to jump back into barbell free weight barbell squats. For him, the answer was leg presses. Well, first of all, leg extensions, then leg presses, then hack squats. That was his typical workout. Typical. Would he do squatting motions once in a while? Yes, he would. He'd use a Smith machine. For him, that worked well. And then occasionally, very rarely, he would use a barbell according to what he's written. Now, did he grow from that? Yeah. Any of you all saying, well, he grew most of his mass with the barbell squat? I agree. He did grow a lot of mass with the barbell squat while damaging his hip. At some point, he dumped it. Did he grow past that point? Yes. His entire professional career was done without the barbell squat. And yes, his thighs grew during that time period. So, he did what was best for his structure. Remember, I said that. Number 3. Let's see. Who can I come up with number 3? Rich Piana. May he rest in peace. Rich Piana. An old friend of mine. Rich had mammoth shoulders. I mean, They were huge even before there were any claims of oil being shot in there or anything like that. He had monster shoulders. Rich didn't do overhead presses. He did not do or believe in doing overhead military style presses with barbells or with dumbbells. What did he do? He did side laterals. He did front laterals. He did rear delts. That's what he did for his shoulders. For him and for his structure, those exercises built massive cannonball delts on him. So he didn't listen to anybody else. He did what was best for his structure. Remember, I said that. Here we go. Who else can I come up with? Mike Mentzer. Mike Mentzer. Well, here's another thing I have in common with Mike Mentzer besides being a student of his and training a lot of my career in the heavy-duty style. Mike and myself, neither one of us did bench presses with a barbell. He hated bench presses with a barbell. Did not feel right with him. Did not feel right on his structure. Mike would do pre-exhaust. He'd work his pecs using any other isolation movement on his chest, like a dumbbell fly or a pec deck. And then he would go to a pressing motion, usually with a machine. He liked the Nautilus bench press machine. He didn't stick, or the incline machine, incline Icarian bench press machine, or Smith machine even. He liked either one of those. But he would not do the barbell bench presses. I mean, it was considered heresy back in the 70s to not do a barbell bench press, but he stuck with what he knew what was best for his structure. Remember, I said that. Starting to see a pattern here, aren't you? I got another one for you. And this one's going to be a pair of guys. Tony Pearson and Serge Nubret. Both of them squatted narrow stance squats. Free weight, but with a narrow stance, with their heels up on a block. Both of these guys had terrific thighs. They weren't massive compared to a lot of other guys, but they were great. They both had great development of quads. They both had great lower body development for their physiques and even for their times. So they found for their structure what was best. And they built mass that way. They built mass on their physiques using the exercises that they knew fit their structure the best. And then they worked it into the ground. Just like I've done. Just like, some of the other guys have done that I mentioned. Mike Mentzer, Dorian Yates, Rich Piana. These guys took exercises, and you should too, that fit their structures properly, that did not cause pain. And let me tell you, if you're doing any exercise that you find on, let's say, leg day, that whenever you use the hack squat on leg day, you find yourself, when you get home, having to grab an ice pack and put it on your patellar tendon. Wow. This is like a train, two trains on a railroad track coming right at each other. Eventually they're going to hit. Eventually there's going to be a problem. Okay? You can predict what's going to happen down the line. That hack squat is irritating your patellar tendon to the point where it's causing little fibers to fray away on the tendon, causing tendinitis at the minimum, which means pain, which means you can't train your thighs as hard as you can, which means they'll never grow to their fullest potential. But even worse, you could rupture that patellar tendon on that hack squat. Your body is telling you, no, don't do it. So, anybody at any point in time can go and do a workout and not feel right in their shoulder or their elbow or their knee or their back, and they go home and they ice that body part, and it's fine. Maybe they did something a little bit too awkwardly that day, a little imbalanced, or out of position, or tried a new exercise and overdid it on the weight. But if it were to happen repeatedly, you notice repeatedly, look for those patterns that certain joints are getting irritated after certain workouts where you've done certain exercises. Eliminate those exercises one by one and see if it doesn't cure that, or have you feeling better afterwards, or have you forgetting to put ice on that joint afterwards, even better, right? So, you gotta go with what fits your structure the best. You see my hands here, I'm urging you to go with what fits your structure the best. And then train those exercises into the ground. That's how you're going to grow the best. It does not matter if Arnold himself tells you barbell bench presses are the best for you, barbell squats are the best for you, bent over barbell rows are the best for you to grow with. It does not matter if the king tells you that. Ronnie Coleman tells you that, you know. It doesn't matter if he tells you that you must do heavy barbell squats or you must do heavy leg presses. Well, if you're on that leg press and your hip sockets are bothering you afterwards, what good is it? Don't do it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever for you and your structure. Don't give up either, though. Does it mean you're never going to grow? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means there's a different exercise for your structure. Best thing to do, get a hold of some people that know better. Talk to some experienced trainers. Seek out online some advice from some top professionals that have been around for a while, have trained people for a long time. You might get more information and more answers to your questions than you would ever imagine. So that's it for today. I'm sharing with you the best exercises for you to grow. The best ones you can use are the ones for your structure. Try them all. Find out which ones feel right. Just make sure you're doing them right. Okay? And that's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart, thank you for stopping by. Before you leave, off to my left, you're going to find up here floating around in the air a little button. It's a little circle. Press that button. It's the subscription button. It'll let you know when new videos of mine pop up. You'll get notifications to let you know when new videos pop up if you're liking the videos that I do. Off and down to your left, you'll find a thumbs up button over there. Please, it helps the channel out greatly if you give that thing a tap right there. And that's it for today. Look forward to seeing you again next time.